Conor McGregor versus Jeremy Stephens, BKFC 2025. Book it. Before we get into this video, guys, please like, comment, and subscribe for me. Let's get into it. Over this past weekend, BKFC held a huge event in Philly. Jeremy Stephens versus Eddie Alvarez, the underground king of Philly. And I'll be honest, it was a slam dunk event for them. BKFC is really firing on all cylinders, and they've really found their niche. It's almost like ECW back in the mid 2000s, like they are the extreme combat sport, but they're really creating their own lane by getting old UFC vets, old MMA vets, and throwing them in there to box bare knuckle. And the product is great. It's fast paced. They sold out the Wells Fargo Center, over 17,000 people. What other promotion can do that outside of the UFC in America? None. So they are really killing it right now. And the fact that they have Conor McGregor backing them, as controversial as he is in the fight space, it's still Conor McGregor and it's still fun. We can't lie about that. And he makes things bigger. But to get into the event, in the main event, you had Jeremy Stephens and Eddie Alvarez, and it was a very good fight while it lasted, but eventually Jeremy Stephens' power was able just to overtake an older Eddie, and Jeremy seems to, kind of like Mike Perry, he's kind of like built for bare knuckle in a sense. And if you would have told me 5 years ago you'd have Conor McGregor getting in the ring to face off with Jeremy Stephens, I'd call you fucking insane. And I think if you told Conor back at that legendary press conference where Jeremy Stephens starts calling him out and he delivers the "who the fuck is that guy?" When he did that shit, if you would have told him then, hey, 8-10 years from now you're going to be facing off with this guy in a bare knuckle ring, he'd call you insane too. But this is really fun. Like, BKFC is the fun product. You tune in and you're always going to be entertained no matter what. Do they cook up these long-term storylines? No. But the product itself is what you're there for. And are we ever actually going to see Conor in a bare knuckle ring? I personally hope so. Honestly, I could care less if he fights in MMA again. Like, the guy has already done everything there is to do, and he seems checked out of MMA. But if we could see Conor in a bare knuckle fight, like, that would be fucking sick. And who really knows what Conor's gonna do, because there was the Logan Paul fight rumors where they were gonna get $250 million each. We saw the videos of him and Logan Paul going back and forth at the inauguration, talking about why the fight wasn't made. And Conor's just kind of all over the place, and he's talking shit, who's going to stop me? Come on, you're controlled by this, this, and this. When in reality, it's like, Conor, you're under contract with the UFC too, and you can't fight unless they give you the okay. I will say this, though. Dana does seem to really like Dave Feldman, the head promoter for BKFC. I assume he's probably like part owner too. But he's like the face of BKFC, as Dana is the face of the UFC. And Dana does really seem to like him. They've had meetings before. Like, if there was something where Dana would give Conor the okay to do it, I would think it's BKFC. Because he has a good relationship with Dave Feldman, and there's some type of respect there. Also, obviously, Dana does not want Conor doing business with Jake and Logan Paul. That's probably why that fight fell through. But like I said, if he's going to give the okay, it would be to go fight in BKFC for David Feldman, where Conor is also part owner, apparently, and pumping a good amount of money into it. But BKFC, man, I really, really suggest you guys tune in and watch if you haven't. I know it feels extreme and crazy and like, what the fuck am I watching? But it really is, it's its own sport, It's not, there's a reason why boxers aren't directly translating into it, because it's different. It is not MMA and it is not boxing. It takes a specific type of guy to succeed in there. which can tell you it is its own thing. Mike Perry is at the top of BKFC, not, he beat MVP, who is a better mixed martial artist. He beat Luke Rockhold, who is way bigger and better. It's a combination of technique and just pure savage violence. So specific guys are really built for it. And if you tune into it, you will have a new love for it. I guarantee you. It's fast paced. The fights are action packed, 2-minute rounds. It goes by quick and it's full of action. But will we ever see Conor McGregor in the BKFC ring? What do you guys think? Will he fight out his contract with the UFC and then end up over there when he's like 40? I would still watch it, but I'd rather it sooner than later. But I'll be honest, BKFC, I would much rather see him in than the UFC. Now, he got into a face-to-face with Mike Perry like a year or two ago, so he's done this before. Conor is, off his rocker, as we know. He gets into fucking stare downs and talks shit to everybody. So you never know what the guy's gonna do. But if there was something likely for him to do outside the UFC, I would say it's BKFC. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below on the event as a whole. If you watched it, Ben Rothwell was also on the card and won the heavyweight title. Another guy who seems like he's built for BKFC. There was numerous great fights, a couple of great knockouts. Give me your thoughts on the event as a whole. What do you think about the production, the fights themselves, how fast-paced it is, the fact that they were able to sell out a 17,000-seat arena, and probably no one else as far as MMA promoters will be able to do in North America. Like, they're the only ones outside the UFC that can do that. Do you think Conor McGregor will ever actually fight in BKFC? Whether it's, a year from now, 2 years from now, 4 years from now? I think he will. I don't think it'll be within the next year or two, but I do think he will fight out his UFC contract and eventually go into BKFC because he is part owner and it would be massive. Like, could you imagine Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor in bare knuckle, or Mike Perry versus Conor in bare knuckle? It would be huge. That is all I got for you guys. I will see you in the next video.